Hi, I'm Lisa Oliver, Assistant Principal at Oakwood School. I'm part of the panel because I am an Assistant Principal, but also I'm a mom of 5 girls who are currently in this district. I've got an 8th grader, a 7th grader, a 6th grader, and 2 first graders. So I have the educator perspective at the elementary schools where we are feeling tremendous growth, and I also have the perspective as a mom in this district. I also have the unique perspective of living in Granbury for almost my entire life. And so I've watched this town grow. I've watched the community rally around our schools, and I can really speak for the need that our community needs for this bond right now. So as far as an elementary school principal, I can tell you that Oakwood School is feeling growing pains. We are dealing with traffic every single morning and every single afternoon. A lot of people don't even know where Oakwoods is, and that is because we are off of the highway, just off of 377 and Davis Road. We're kind of behind KFC, and we are landlocked on a beautiful piece of property, but it is really hard to get in and out of our building. We joke that we're a really good school, kind of like Grump's has really good burgers, but we have awful parking. We are feeling their growing pains every single year, and it's just hard enough to get our families in and out of the parking lot every day, along with the mini buses. So that's one area we feel the growth. I kind of tell people the way we feel the traffic on 377 right now is how we feel within our building. And so we are overcrowded in the hallways, we're overcrowded in common spaces, we're using every single classroom for actual classes, but also what you forget about when you reach that capacity is that the common areas become crowded too. So our gym was originally built in 1990, was too small even then for students, and now that we have outgrown, we're using every single classroom, you're still trying to put 620 students into one gym and into one small library, into one small cafeteria. Those are the areas that we're feeling the biggest growth, and we anticipate that to get worse over the years. As far as a mom in this district, I know what middle school life is like right now with 3 middle schoolers. My students are athletes, they're in fine arts. My girls love to be exposed and in everything at school. So if it's offered, one of my girls at least is going to try it. And so the idea of going to one junior high, a lot have questions about what's that going to mean for opportunities. For someone who's living the junior high life from a mom perspective right now, I'm very excited about how having one junior high in Granbury and what that would do for my girls, what it would have done as far as unifying our community. In athletics, my girls have played all sports at the middle school level, and the idea of having them play with the teammates in Granbury, having both GMS and AMS kids together in one building, really excites me. It excites me to think that not just the facilities of taking the high school and using it as a junior high, the facilities are amazing, obviously, but the fact that we could bring the kids together and have so many opportunities for them. I see the benefits, they really outweigh anything that I've heard in terms of people being worried about size. Another way I think it's going to benefit junior high students, specifically for my own kids, what I think makes a school is the staffing, and knowing that my students have enough adults there for them, watching them, taking care of them, being on their team. And when we combine 2 schools, we're able to combine 2 staff too. And we're able to provide all of our kids, all of our 6th, 7th, and 8th grades in Granbury with basically a group of adults who are committed to them and to their excellence. We joke that it takes a special group of people to really reach the students of that age group, and I think we have an opportunity to bring all those people on board into one location, a really amazing location, and really unify Granbury ISD, unify the Pirates from 6th grade up rather than 9th grade up. So those are the main things I'm really excited about with the bond, and I really think could be a very positive effect for our community and for my family and for my elementary school.
Hi, my name is Maggie Walton, and I'm an assistant principal here at Acton Elementary. I have been here for 10 years at our campus, and over the last 10 years, our campus has experienced a ton of growth. And when we talk about being an overcrowded campus, I want to explain kind of what that means. We utilize every nook and cranny in our building for instructional space. All of our rooms are used as classrooms. We recently, in the last 5 to 6 years, have converted our computer lab, our science lab, and even a few years ago, we converted our teacher's lounge into a classroom. And so really, all of our spaces are being utilized as classrooms. In the last couple of years, we've converted closets into classrooms by adding windows to the doors and by adding vents inside those rooms. Our speech pathologist, our LLI tutors, our do the math tutors, all of those interventionists either work out of a closet or work out of a portable building. We were lucky enough just this last year to get 2 additional portables that serve as 4 different classroom spaces. Our dyslexia interventionists are in those spaces, as well as a few of our LLI and math interventionists. And so a lot of our students are coming in and out of the building as they go to the portable for those different programs. Next year, unfortunately, due to even more growth, we are having 2 of our teachers, classroom teachers, move out into the portables. And so obviously with that comes a myriad of issues. Safety being one of them, coming in and out of the building, no running water, inclement weather, all of those things. It just does not make it an ideal situation. And so, like I said, every single spot in our building is being used for instructional space. When we think about this many students, we have 850 or almost 850 students. We also have the issue of plumbing and restrooms. And so our building has been added on to a few different times. And with that, we've added a bathroom, but we currently have a major shortage of restrooms for both students and for staff. And so restrooms and just updated plumbing are things that definitely need to be addressed on our campus. Also with that, with the number of students we have, is the congested drop-off and pickup line. If you've driven out in front of our building around 7:15 in the morning or around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you most likely have seen a lot of congestion. And so our traffic obviously backs up onto Acton School Road and then onto Highway 4. And so traffic is also a major concern. By 2025, we are projected to be over 1,000 students, and even at 850 right now, we feel very, very full. And when we think about kind of what school looks like in the 21st century, we think about collaboration spaces and a room where students can meet together and work together and collaborate. We do not have any of those spaces on our campus. And so as we think about approaching 1,000 students in 2025, man, we already feel super full. And so we definitely feel it here. Anytime you would like to come and take a tour of our building, we are more than happy to facilitate that. We love showing off all of the wonderful things our teachers are doing, and a lot of times it's helpful just to see firsthand just what our building looks like.
I'm Kelly Lambert, principal at Emma Robertson Early Learning Academy, and this is my 18th year here at the campus.
And I'm Tabitha Bleeker, assistant principal, and this is my 18th year in education and my 3rd year here at Emma Robertson Early Learning Academy.
This was the first year that we had the entire district all pre-K in one campus, and we had 14 classes of 4-year-olds, and we had 3 classes of 3-year-olds that is a partnership with Head Start. And so we had 325 kids this year, and our student ratio is 11-1 as far as the state law, but we were able to have 18 kids in one class, so that dropped it down to 9-1. And so that's a teacher, a certified teacher, and an aide. And so that's how we had our classes. And of those classes, I had 11 of the pre-K4 is English, and 3 are bilingual, Spanish. And then in our 3-year-old classes, we had 2 that are English and 1 that is Spanish. And so in order to go to pre-K, you have to qualify. It's a federally funded program, so not everybody can come. So there are 8 qualifiers. The most common are low socioeconomic, homeless, non-English speaking, part of the foster care or state system, military, Star Award, and sometimes some special ed students are able to go to pre-K as well. And so if we were to open up, we can only have at our campus the 4-year-olds that qualify, and then the partnership with Head Start is a federally grant program, and they only allowed us 3 classes. Next year they're going to allow us 4 classes. This campus alone cannot hold all who just qualify. And so we would have to have an additional campus in order to have those kids all come. And so beyond that, we had our staff kids. That was a perk of being an employee here. You could have your staff kids attend, and to do that you had to pay a tuition. And so those were not free, and I think that's a very huge misconception in the community, in the bond, is that if we enroll pre-K, those who qualify enroll first, and then if we have any space left, you can allow non-qualifiers. But those non-qualifiers will have to pay a tuition. The district is not able to just pay teachers to educate kids for free. They have to have funding from somewhere, so it is not free. And that was one of the things that was I wanted to share, that was one of the most important. And then also that the difference between the daycare and our kind of educational institution is that it's educational. That is the biggest I guess way of explaining that we educate. We have 18-to-1. We follow a curriculum. We have certified teachers, and we have a strict schedule. We have TEA guidelines that we follow as far as the academics that we have to teach, and we can tell you about this year alone. We have 25% of those kids reading, and that's huge to have 4-year-old kids reading already to be ready for kindergarten. And then we have 55% of our kids that are approaching reading, so they're very, very close. And so our goal was half our kids, and so I don't know how if we'll get there. It was a pretty lofty goal, but that's our focus. Our number one focus is vocabulary, regulating behavior, followed by those academics. And so that's the difference between the daycare. We are totally 100% focused on instruction.
All right, great. So speaking of instruction, we follow a state research-based approved curriculum. It's called Frog Street. Within Frog Street, there's a conscious discipline component, and we also use the standalone program to teach kids how to regulate their emotions. And so that's been really successful here on campus, especially since this is a lot of times the first time that a child has exposure to, being with a class of other kids. Again, all of our teachers are highly qualified. Research says that if you have a highly qualified and research-based pre-K program, it will help with vocabulary acquisition, it will help with critical thinking skills, social emotional skills, and so, looking at data that we've done every 6 weeks on our students, we've seen large growth in areas of academics and social emotional behavior. It's a really great program, and if you're curious and want to see what we have going on, we'd love you to come and visit. During our lunch and breakfast, we do community style dining, so 9 students are at a table with 1 teacher. They learn how to pass, they learn manners, they learn we do numbers, colors, shapes, counting. So our meal time is all instructional. So that's been a really cool program to be able to see students learn not only instruction, but learn how to share and take turns in manners. So if you want to see us, come and visit us. We're here Monday through Friday.
And also we have, I forgot to mention, we have special ed for 3 and 4-year-olds that qualify. Once a student turns 3 years old and they have a disability, no matter what time of the year, they can enter schools. And so we enroll kids that are 3 with special needs throughout the entire year. And so I have 4 special ed teachers for early childhood special education, and so we have about 35 to 40 special needs kids, and we have all of the district's pre-K 3 and 4-year-olds all at this campus. And so it's a great place. It is something I believe in. It's something that the other teachers that get these kids in kindergarten absolutely love it. Acton Elementary is coming over here, in fact, to visit and go through and tour and see just how we're getting those kids up to this level at the age of 4, because we think it's quite impressive. So there you go. That's what we do at Emma Robertson Early Learning Academy, and like Tabitha said, please come visit us.
Scott Carpenter, and I'm 8th grade science teacher here at Acton Middle School, and I work with Outdoor Learning Center. Things that we have seen in the last couple of years here at Acton Middle School are traffic issues. And so we have essentially a 2-lane road here on James Road that parents and us included turn into a 3-lane road in the mornings. And it makes it difficult to get buses in and out quickly so we can get kids dropped off. Same thing in the afternoon. Buses have a hard time turning in, and so it makes pickup for parents difficult, makes getting kids on buses difficult as well. We've had instances where we have kids that walk across in the afternoons to the YMCA, and essentially in the afternoons there are 2 separate pickup lines. There's one that runs next to the band hall and then one that runs at the back of the parking lot. And there's been several instances as kids are crossing using the crosswalk to get across the parking lot where we've almost had kids hit because the traffic is so difficult to maneuver here. As far as being in our classrooms, in science, we have cut out about 60 to 65% of our labs because we don't have enough room. Our science classes are pushing 28 to 30 kids right now, and those classrooms were built to hold 22 to 24 students. And so we can't safely do a lot of the labs that we have done in the past, and so those have been cut out. We might do some demos if it's safe to do so, but we really need the room for the kids to get the experiences, the hands-on experiences of doing the labs. Other than that, it's just we have traffic in the hallways. This building was originally built for 1,000 students, and we're currently at 1,050, 1,060 right now. So it's literally shoulder to shoulder, cheek to cheek, getting up and down the hallways.
Hi, my name is Carl Kreusel. I'm an 8th grade math teacher here at GMS. I'm also our girls coordinator for athletics here. One of, I think, the biggest benefits of the bond happening is when we combine middle schools, I think we'll become one community. Us having one community will maybe eliminate some of the disparities between the size of the school, and I think it will benefit us as we go to high school athletic program that we've been playing together as a team for 2 years instead of trying to combine as a freshman team. I think another thing it does is it's going to add to our coaching staff. So we're going to have a lower coach to player ratio. So we're going to have more hands-on with those athletes, hopefully help them develop. It'll also allow us to, with the larger numbers, be able to possibly offer more opportunities for students. Not every athlete can be a football player or a basketball player, but if we can offer them more opportunities, we feel like athletics can help them, reach some more potential with leadership, with community service opportunities, and have those kids be able to explore more opportunities and hopefully stay more involved in school because they have an athletic activity to go for. When we talk about combining middle schools on the academic level, I think it helps homogenize our classes. I think it helps to where we can have more diversity on the courses that are offered, and I believe it's going to share the 2 staffs that we have. We have 2 excellent middle school staffs. Whenever we combine those 2 through professional learning communities, we'll be able to collaborate more on academic opportunities. We'll be able to maybe get into smaller groups to have better intervention programs and attack it from a couple different angles. Another benefit would be class sizes. With us moving from, I believe the 2 middle schools have a combined 112 classrooms, going up to, I believe it's somewhere, I think an additional 40. It'll reduce class sizes, and smaller class sizes is really helpful for raising scores and raising academic opportunities. And combining middle schools, it'll also allow us to use what the facilities at the high school are. So we're able to get our kids involved in CTE programs a couple of years earlier. They're able to maybe try out some careers earlier, and if they're really into it, they can get started earlier and just be exposed to more. And finally, just to go back to it, I think it's a great thing for our community for us all to be one. Starting school here in 2001 when the 2 middle schools opened, there's kind of been a divide in the community, and to see that divide finally go away after 20 years, I think it would be a major benefit to Granbury.
Hi, my name is Wade Clark. I'm with the automotive program in CTE, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how the growth that we've had already and the growth that is anticipated affects CTE programs, not just mine in automotive. My family came here about 20 years ago to the community, but I've only been teaching at Granbury High School. This is my 4th year. This is the job that I took after retiring from the military, and it's just been a fantastic opportunity for me to help give back to kids. In our auto program, when I came here, when they hired me, I was going to be the 2nd automotive teacher, and they were going to add a program of small engine repair. And so there were 2 of us, and we had a total of 12 sections of instruction between auto basics, small engine, and advanced auto. But it has just continued to grow by leaps and bounds. More and more kids have been asking for it and wanting it. A year ago, we had to add a 3rd teacher, and now this year we're already having to look for creative ways to maybe add a 4th teacher because of the demand and not wanting to turn kids away. I know at beginning of this year, Ag Welding had to turn away like 50 kids that wanted the program, but they just didn't have enough instructors and space to add those 50 kids. And so nobody ever wants to turn kids away. Some of these kids, the only reason that they come to school is for those ag classes, those auto classes, those culinary classes, those types of things. They're not typically drawn to math, science, history, but this gives us an opportunity to still capture those kids and give them an opportunity to find something they're passionate about, that they can maybe leave industry ready or be more prepared to go to a technical school and then go be good productive citizens, which is basically all of our goals here, is to turn out good citizens, well-educated kids. So I know that we've had some growth things here that are great because we're catching more kids this way, but it's also starting to be a problem as far as space. Already in my program, we're going to have to run a piece of tape down the shop floor next year and have 2 teachers with 2 separate classes happening at the same time in the shop because of space and so that we don't have to turn kids away. I know that in culinary, they used to have a big kitchen, and then that led into a bistro or a little dining area, and so they kind of got to do the product from the beginning, planning of the meal, preparing the meal, and then serving customers in the restaurant. And because of growth, and we had to add a teacher, they had to take that bistro over and turn it into a classroom. We had a teacher's common space for CTE, where teachers got together and could sit down and have meetings and plan and talk about future things. And that space had to be taken at the beginning of this year and converted into a classroom. So we're already feeling a lot of that, those numbers in CTE. The biggest problem that we have, though, as a school, because we do have a 2,500 capacity, I believe, for this high school, and we're only like 21 and some change, is my understanding. But the reason it feels full and overflowing is because of the hallways. The hallways were originally built 50 years ago. So because of that, they weren't designed to have that high flow of traffic. So right now we have a ton of kids, but we're still under capacity as far as the building itself until you put all of them in the hallways and they start transitioning. And unfortunately at high school level, with 4 grades, those kids are going from one end of the school to the other end of the school and all intermingling and merging together. I know that some of the conversation has been about the middle school taking the same space and not being too far behind on numbers, but that's one of the huge differences about why the middle school would work in that environment, because in middle school, kids don't all commingle like that. You're going to have 3 grades, 6, 7, and 8, and your 6th graders kind of stay in their area, and 7th graders in theirs, 8th in theirs, unless they come out for an elective, a special thing. So you have a lot less kids flowing, intermingling in the hallways, which is why that's going to feel a lot more spacious and work for a lot longer as a middle school, if this should happen. That's basically what's going on here in CTE. We're doing a lot of great things. A lot of kids are leaving industry ready, getting certifications in pharmacy tech or ASC certifications in automotive, welding certifications in welding, engineering, CAD design, all kinds of things are happening. Lots of kids are leaving school already, ready to go to work, and lots of them are being put on the path to a technical school to do good things and be good citizens as well. And the kids that we're capturing there are mostly the kids that don't thrive in your traditional school environment. So that's what we have going on. That's how growth has been affecting us here, and how future number growth is going to continue to be a problem for us until we can find some space.
Hello Pirate Nation, I'm Coach Chad Cheez. I'm the boys athletic coordinator for the district. And I'm here to talk to you about some of our current issues and our vision for moving forward. Starting with just our programs in general, as we continue to have a higher enrollment of students, then we have a higher enrollment of student athletes, and those athletes are going to need somewhere to dress. Some of the biggest growth that we're seeing right now are in our track programs and our boys and girls powerlifting programs, and we just got to have locker room space for those kids. Additionally, from a facility standpoint, specifically speaking about our track program, the track that we currently practice on at the high school is the original. It certainly has been resurfaced a few times, but it's the original track, and it continues to crack. And so the easy solution is, well, can your kids walk over to GMS? They can walk over to GMS. However, now you're competing with typically the same time frame with middle school and high school kids for the same track. Continuing to talk about track, we would love to host a big district meet or even an area or regional meet. However, the capacity at Granbury Middle School doesn't allow us to do that, as well as the lack of restroom facilities. Our field events, if it happens to rain during the spring, the drainage system is set up to where they catch a lot of rain, and it's hard to get them dry if you're within a couple of days of the last previous rain. So just some issues there for hosting district or regional meets. As far as Pirate Stadium goes, we certainly have issues there. One is fans that fall under the ADA. We certainly have room for ADA fans, but there's not a lot of room for them. And so that's one issue. Another issue is multiple times this past season and a couple of times the previous season, we were at capacity. And when that happened, we had to send home fans to the visitor side to sit on the visiting side just so they had actually have a seat. With the increased fans, some other issues are there's no walkways in the bleachers, and that presents a security issue, as well as there's not a way to keep season ticket holders and general admission tickets separate from each other and police that and secure those seats for the season ticket holders based off the way our stands are set up. Additionally, going from the northeast end of the home stands to the restrooms, there's only restrooms on one end of the stadium, and underneath the stands is also the concession stand. So now you have massive congestion from the concession stand line and then just trying simply to get to the restroom, and that happens underneath the stands. And then last is the complaint we get a lot, is especially during August and September, is our stands face west, and so we're constantly looking into the sun. From a capacity standpoint, graduation comes to mind, and the fact that we have to limit the fans or the parents or the relatives of graduating seniors to a small number because of the capacity of the stadium. Also, the room on the sidelines is very tight, and that doesn't allow us to hold a UIL band competition because there's not enough room for the equipment for the other bands to bring their equipment with them. So just some issues that we are currently facing, and again, as our student enrollment increases, so will the number of people attending ball games. A common question that we're seeing, that we're getting from the community is, how are you going to merge two middle schools into one in terms of athletic teams? And so when we merge AMS and GMS, our vision is all of the coaching staff at AMS and all the coaching staff at GMS will both come together to the current high school, as will all of the athletes. So the student athlete to coach ratio will be exactly the same as it is now. And by doing that, by bringing your entire coaching staff, that will allow us to have the same amount of teams that we currently have. It's been a frequent question, but what our vision is we'll take the top 50% or top 33% of our athletes, and we will evaluate them regardless of what their address is or which school they came from. You evaluate them as a coach, and then you combine your athletes for your best team. So we'll run 2A teams, 2B teams, and then the C teams is certainly a different topic. With that, we have some schools in our new middle school district that have told us they're not going to play C teams at any level and on any gender. And so even though Weatherford is a 6A school with more students than we have, they have told us that they're no longer going to play C teams. Cleburne, on the other hand, will do their best to field a C team. And so I tell you that to say, if our opponents have C teams, then we will certainly play our opponents with a C team as well. If our middle school district doesn't have C teams, then it leaves you a couple options. One option is to find an outlaw schedule, and by outlaw we mean you simply call around week to week trying to find a middle school team that needs a game. They have an open date, and you just match up with whoever you can. If that doesn't work, then the final solution would be to, on a particular week where you couldn't find an opponent, is to simply play a game-like scenario with your own kids, where at least they're still practicing throughout the week and they're getting the drills and the fundamentals, and then they play a game just like everybody else. It would just be against themselves. And so again, bringing all the athletes together and dividing into 2A teams, 2B teams, and potentially 2C teams should we have the athletes and the numbers to do that in each individual sport. So a follow-up question that we're getting from that is, well, how's that going to be any different than what it is now? It's still going to be AMS and GMS. No, it won't be AMS and GMS. It'll be all the athletes combined into one pool, just like we do currently at the high school, regardless of which middle school they used to go to. And a coach just evaluates their ability, their skills, their talent, and then they form the team simply based off their evaluation, not where they came from. So essentially we'll be pulling all of our athletes together to form our best two teams, then our next two teams, and potentially the bottom two teams. So just our vision for what athletics will look like moving forward. Appreciate your time, and as always, we're just a phone call or an email away should you have any further questions. Thank you.